Kiss made an appearance today on the Howard Stern show, and we did a video about that earlier today, so I'm not going to delve too much into the appearance. But we do have this headline that came from the interview where they talk about their former drummer, Eric Carr. And of course, Eric Carr, the drummer who passed away of heart cancer, in the midst of his time with the band, he was in the middle of his run with the group, and basically it was cut short when he got a very rare form of cancer very young. Now, Paul Stanley was asked about this in the Howard Stern interview, and Stanley sort of changing his tune, because for anybody who hasn't read Paul Stanley's book, man, if you go back and read Paul Stanley's book, I personally think he should be ashamed of the way he spoke about Eric Carr in that book, bro, because it was so cold and it was so insensitive, just the way that he spoke on him. He said something in the book like Eric Carr had an open casket funeral and it was ghastly. Like, what a thing to say about your fucking quote-unquote supposed brother, the dude who's supposed to be your brother in this band, who you're supposed to be by his side. Like, what a thing to say in your book. But Paul apparently changing his tune now. He says, "I'm not a big believer in mistakes. I believe that everything you do gets you to where you wind up, and without those mistakes, you wouldn't succeed on the level you could have." Cliche, I don't know if that's true, but I mean, he's more successful than me, so I guess I'll take it from him. But the one thing that I think personally was a mistake was when our second drummer, Eric Carr, got sick with cancer, says Paul. He continues, "Eric desperately wanted to work on the song, but he was very frail." This is talking about God Gave Rock and Roll to You, the song they did for the Bill and Ted movie soundtrack. "If I knew then what I know now, I never thought this might be his last chance to perform. I would have let him play, but at the time I was sure that he would beat the odds." Which is what they said the whole way through, by the way. I mean, Paul even said in his book as well, he never expected Eric Carr to actually pass because he was young. It just didn't make sense. You know, a young dude, I mean, how old was Eric Carr when he passed? He couldn't have been 35. Something like that. So I feel like, yeah, people sort of have this mentality that like stuff like that happens to other people, but it doesn't happen to me or like to people I know. That's sort of the mentality, man. But that's not the case, you know, that nobody's immune to this type of thing. Carr became even more upset when the band made plans to record their next album without him, rationalizing that he should instead focus on his recovery. Paul continues, quote, "Once we told him we were going to record Revenge, he cut himself off from us. Though I thought I had made the best choices at the time, I began to realize I had been wrong. We had cut Eric off in perhaps the worst way, by denying him what mattered to him most, his place in Kiss." Insane, you know. I mean, this is real shit, and it's nice to hear Paul come back and actually man up, dude. Because I've said this in past shows. The one thing I really hated about Paul Stanley's book, and that I hate about the way that Paul Stanley conducts himself in general, is he's very good at identifying why this guy's wrong and Gene's wrong and that guy's wrong and his family, but he never wants to talk about why he was wrong or admit when he was wrong in any given circumstance, bro. So this is refreshing to hear. I mean, Paul Stanley and admitting he was wrong, those are two things that don't really go hand in hand, man. Hey, man, shout out to you, 2 a.m. in the UK. Shout out Samuel Willis, man. I appreciate you. Good to see you, man. So yeah, I mean, it's insane to really think about. We have this last quote here. It said he had a heart. This is Paul. I mean, Paul talked a lot about this. And again, we would play the clips from Howard, but we're going to get taken down from YouTube if we do stuff like that. He had heart cancer, which is only 6 cases a year. At first, we didn't believe it could possibly be true, and over a short time, it became clearer. He had major heart surgery, and I think that the brain just doesn't let you comprehend. So yeah, man, there's Kiss talking about Eric Carr. Listen, in any case, rest in peace to Eric. This dude is definitely, you know, one of the most legendary drummers, I think, of his time. When it comes to 80s drummers, man, Eric Carr just had a quintessential sound. He was always, you always knew it was him. He was like the son of John Bonham in a way. Like, he just had this distinctive sound that you really could always identify with. So I really I love that, man, and I think it's incredible.